Welcome to the Seleucid campaign. In this video we're going to deviate from playing the main campaign because on the 24th of December 2018, if you're watching this in the future, update was released, and this is a pretty extensive update. It changes 3 key areas of the game. More details about that later on. Before I get into talking about the update, I want to give a big thank you to Dresden, Cam and Scipio the Great for bringing us another fantastic update to this, wow, fantastic mod, I suppose is the best way to describe it. I've been looking forward to playing this for some time, and I've had people ask me whether I will be playing it. Well, this is the truth, guys. We are going to be playing it. In this video, I'm not going to go into every single detail for 2 reasons. One is a very extensive mod. There's lots of changes. There will be a link in the video description to the full release notes if any of you guys want to see all the details. And the other one is that many of the changes are not something I can demonstrate easily. What we're going to be doing is playing the campaign and then picking up on the changes as we go through, but I do want to go through some of the more prominent changes, probably the best way to describe it in this video. Therefore there's a good chance we're only going to play a couple of turns. Now before I get into talking about the update, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a quick overview of where we got. If you're following the series, you'll be aware that in the last part we were down here with Mathrib and we captured this, so the Seleucid Empire now holds the whole of this area here. You can see we're now a massive empire, and I did get a question from someone who asked how the Romans were doing, and the Romans are doing very well. You can see here they hold quite large parts of Europe, Italy, and they've pushed through, so they're now up against us on the opposite side of the Bosphorus. They're at the Black Sea, and just to show you the relative power, the game has them a lot more powerful than even me, and I'm one of them more powerful factions in the game. And I think that's down to the fact that the Romans probably have more armies than me. So let's get down to talking about the new update. It can be split into 3 parts. The first part is based on Cam's experimental battle pack. I think any of you guys have been following the development of the mod over time would be aware that Cam's been working on this a long time. Well, this has now been included into this update, and it's got a lot of changes which as I say I will go into in a little while. And the second component of this update is an overhaul of the campaign AI by Scipio the Great. He has made a lot of changes, the way the AI manages its stacks, the way it responds to the player, and I think one of the biggest changes, and I think if any of you guys have been following the series you have seen an example of this quite recently. I think it was down in Yathrib here, where the AI, whilst defending its last settlement, pulled away and left it exposed and allowed my armies to come in and take it. Hopefully there will be an end to that in the future. There's also going to be ways that the AI will respond to a build up here. You can see my armies are here, effectively waiting to march on the Egyptians, which is going to be the next target in this campaign. And the AI is going to prepare and respond. Now, the problem with this part of the update is it's going to be very difficult for me to demonstrate this, so hopefully these changes will come through as I continue playing the Seleucid campaign, which I intend to do, because as you can see here it's been save game compatible. I've done that. I think I've lost about 2,000 in cash, but I think that's down to some of the trait changes and some of the other adjustments. But for any of you guys who want to see a new campaign, there will be a new campaign starting in the new year. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be, but at the moment the faction at the top of the list is Rome, because I think that might be the way to demonstrate all the new mechanics. The third big part of this update is the new trait system, which I think Dresden had a big input into. We'll probably be looking at that in a bit more detail in a minute, because that's something I can show you and talk a little bit about. Now, on top of the 3 big changes in this update, there's been a whole number of other changes as well. There's been an overhaul of the appearance of Armenian units. Apologies, I forgot to write down who actually did that changes. Big congratulations to that person for the effort they put into that. There's been changes to the ancillary slots, which I will cover when we go through traits. We've now got pirates and raiders, And if any of you guys are not sure what that is, this is actually giving me an opportunity to show it. If I come in here you will see that I've actually got a message here. It says pirate spotted inside, and what seems to be is, I think it's these guys here. These are quite literally a faction that's been spawned. As far as I can see, they don't have any land as such, so they're not like a pirate nation. They're just a fleet that's been spawned into this area here. I suppose what we can do is just go up here and send my fleet up, and we'll just have a quick look at who they are. I'm not going to fight the battle, guys. We'll just have a little bit of a look-see. Yeah, so it looks like we've just got a... There, I'm just going to have a quick up. So what we'll be getting now is these random fleets appearing, causing trouble, which means you're going to need to defend your ports. I mean, I'm assuming that they might get bigger over time. Oops, I've lost a unit. And we've destroyed them. They've burnt in the dust. I suppose I better get this fleet back into here. And it's taken a little bit of a bashing. Give this guy a bit of a promotion. Away steam. I'm just going to merge that up, because we better get these guys back to par. And that's the new pirate mechanic. And I suppose what I better do now, guys, is bite the bullet, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the detail that I can show you. And we're going to start with Cam's battle overhaul. And the most visual impact straight away is that if you come in here, the stats have been reworked again, and you can see straight away at the top, melee attack and defense has now been changed. And the idea is that this is more representative, and it's going to be easier to tell the difference. I think if any of you guys have been playing prior to this update, I think melee attack for these guys was about 30 or 40 and defense was 30 and 40, and what they've actually done is that stat's been dropped. Now there's a lot more focus on armor. I think is, what was it, armor and experience now, and you can see the effect of here. I mean, obviously these guys are very upgraded. You can see they've got the level 2 armor and weapons, so don't take these stats to height. And the other thing you also see now is there's a lot more information going down there, and if you look at the bottom, you also see that there's now speed, and this is going to be quite an important mechanic. This is probably not the right army. This is probably better. You can see that the speed is going to make a big difference of how your units move around the battlefield. You can see we've also now got the stat bonus versus infantry, bonus versus cavalry in here. See, a bonus versus cavalry, 14, 15 elephant score. These guys could be useful. I think the other key stat that you've got to pay attention to now is armor penetration. So that's going to be quite a big change for us to adjust to, and you can see here even these missile units have armor penetration of 12. That's going to be interesting. For any of you guys following the series, you'll see that I've actually got some Syrian war elephants in this army. What I've done is I've rebalanced these armies in preparation for invading Egypt, and what I've actually got is some Seleucid civilian cavalry down here for a bit of fun as well. Now there's a lot more to the battle overhaul than just changing the unit stats, and a lot of those will come out on the battlefield. Just to give you guys a little bit of a feeler of it, as I've already mentioned, the battle speed has been changed, so you're going to be a lot more aware of your armies moving across the field. A key one that's going to be very interesting is there's been quite an overhaul over spotting distance, so there's a good chance now if you don't have the right troops you will not see the enemy's deployment. I mean, that could be fun. There's also been changes with minimum unit size. Hopefully we'll get into a battle pretty soon and we're able to look at that, so that there's no longer any more spaghetti lines. That means we're going to have to change the deployment. That could be fun. There's been a change over the way units engage. So there's been lots of changes like that. As I say, guys, I'm not going to go into every detail because there's no point me talking about it. As we fight the battles, we're going to learn the hard way of how this is actually going to change. That's all I'm going to say about the battle overhaul. Hopefully, as I say, we'll get into a battle and we can have a look at that in a bit more detail. Just to confirm the changes to the campaign AI, you can, as I said, the AI is going to be a lot more balanced in managing its stacks, especially in reacting to when the player invades them, they won't be running away, leaving their settlements exposed. And they've also changed the engagement calculation, so there's going to be, so there should be less of these suicide attacks. I think we're all familiar with it, when the AI attacks with an army against two armies when they've got virtually no chance of success, and you get the easy auto resolve. That's being worked on. The AI is now going to prepare for invasions. That's going to be interesting. So they're going to build up. So that will actually mean that you will need to pay attention to what your neighbours are doing, what they're preparing, what they're going to do. And finally, they're also going to react to build-ups of armies on their border, a bit like what we've got here. But it's a bit late for the Egyptians, unfortunately. But it'd be interesting to see if the Romans react if I start to build up my forces here when we start to push over this way. Now comes on to the one that I can show you quite a lot, and this is the new changes to the traits. And probably the best way to go in is here. Well, this is the best way. I think we'll go in on this level, because this is probably going to be the easiest. No, actually, let's just go in on this level. If we go in on this general now, you will see that what's happened is they've now opened up the 3 levels of traits. This isn't actually part of the traits update, it's an extra bit. It's to do with there, but the big change is across the bottom here. Now you've got, and I'll go through these step by step. So the top one here is political rank. This is what's always been here, and that will increase over the time. You can see this guy's a Peligan, and because he's a 6-star general, so he's actually well up the ranking, and he's given lots of positive traits to his army. The next one across is background in education. So this guy's education is an industrialist. So he's says it unlocks the ability to reach the higher tier intellectual trait industrial magnet, and I think this relates to this. So the better traits you've got here, or background, the better stats you get here, and so these relate to each other. And then the next one is personality: borderline, mature, indulgent, rash. And this is one of the ones that's always changed over time, because I think this guy is still quite young, if I remember correctly, although he's fought lots of battles. So he's still, he says he's mature, but I think if we probably click, I think I've got a young general in here somewhere. There we are. And if we look at this guy, see, he's aged, so he's obviously spent a little bit of time getting into the front line. But he's brave, he's there. I mean, he could be one of my original generals, actually, I think. You can see this one here, he's actually a bureaucrat, but he doesn't seem to be affecting these traits here. So these are minor adjustments to the original traits that have always been here. Now, the big change is these 3 new traits across the bottom. And then we'll start left to right, and you can see this type is a brawler, and this relates to a character's personal prowess, is probably the best way to describe it. And you can see this will improve according to how well they fight. So it will improve over age. If their bodyguard fights well but doesn't take heavy casualties, and of course if they win war battles, this will improve. You can see there, if you run your general round and his bodyguard takes a lot of casualties, then this will either not grow, or I think it can even drop. And you can see this, I think this is the lowest level. I think he's a scrapper, and I think this is the starting level. Now be aware, guys, that because this update's been introduced in the middle of a campaign, these guys have not had a chance to grow over time, so they're stuck with the basic traits. And the next one across is commander, and this actually relates to I suppose the generalship capabilities here. And you can see he's a deputy, and this comes down to battle. So this is similar to this one. The difference is that he improves if he fights plenty of battles, he wins. He improves over age, that counts as experience. But if he gets in lots of battles where he has Pyrrhic or close victories, he either won't improve or he could decrease. And you can see down there, it will drop if he takes lots of high casualty battles. And you can see at the moment, this is the reason why my income dropped, because you can see that these guys, they've lost some campaign movement range, and they've also got more upkeep to do. They've also lost a bit of morale when in foreign territory. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the neck. My one observation on this is the fact that it does come back to my prejudice, guys. Any of you who've watched me, followed any of my series, you know that I hate the auto-resolve. And I think this trait actually plays into my style of approaching battles, where I like to fight battles to keep the casualties minimum. I think if you're someone who likes to use the auto-resolve quite a lot, you may suffer a penalty in this area, especially on those marginal battles when you come out and you get a close victory. I think you may pay a penalty with your generals now with this area here. And the third one is intellectual, and this is, well, is their education, I think that's what they call it. And it says there, and this is quite interesting because this relates to public order, governor skills and age. Now I'm assuming governor skills are, if we come back to this guy, is whether they are this because I do have to choose one that doesn't have come on. Oh, one of you's got to have governor. Yeah, I'm assuming when they mean governor skills they're referring to these here, because this is military academic, this is the personality. So I'm assuming that this will grow above all. So this guy's erudite, so yeah, you can see here that he's better than this general here. So this one is a student, and that's because he doesn't have much there. So let's have a quick look through and see. I mean, I'm winging this very much, guys, so apologies. So he's a student, yeah, so he's not particularly that bright. Now if we can find the guy who's erudite again now. And yeah, nope, the one over the back. And of course I've got to do this one. Yeah, so this one's erudite. So he's got a little bit more promise because he's got more governor skills here, and I presume that. So this is the decision you're going to need to make now, guys, when you're building up, say generals like this. My faction leader, so I don't know. So these faction leader will get this. This is going to be interesting. Strategists. So the faction leader is slightly different, but he's still a student. See, this comes back to when you're developing your faction heirs, that you may need to work on this trait now. So that's a slight digression. The other element also related to this is, if I can find, yeah, I can find one. Nope. Dismantle that. If you look across there, it says allowed for improvement of intellectual character trait and helps prevent it from decreasing. I'm not too sure whether this is a regional effect. This is something I'm going to need to experiment with. So again, it comes back to the fact that if you're placing these governors, you may want them in areas where there are libraries, so that these guys will gain traits. In fact, it could be interesting over this campaign to see whether my faction leader improves because he stood in an area like that. I think that covers about all the main traits. I don't want to drag it out too long, guys, because otherwise this whole video is just going to be me talking. I think we covered that. Now if I get back to the generals, the last thing I want to talk about is this area here. What they've now done is opened up the extra slot, and the way it actually works is that I think this is equipment. I've got to try and work this out now, guys. I've forgotten what it was now. What they've done is they've grouped it into military, household retainer, I think. So let's have a look. Yeah, so this is more economic in this one, and this is more equipment. So you can see it. So we could give him campaign movement range. I mean, I'm gonna have to go through all these armies, and you can see this guy's got nothing at all here. So give him attrition under siege. Yeah, we could give him that. That will offset the problems. Province, tariff, tax rate. So again, there's going to be more scope now to balance your armies, morale, commanders. 8% elephant units. I've got elephant units, but we're just going to put that in there. that's another consideration with building your characters. The one thing I will show you guys is something I've forgotten all about, is that female characters don't have any of the skills. Skills seem to have disappeared completely from female characters here. I'm pretty sure they weren't there, but they do get these traits, and I'm not too sure how this is going to work, because in many ways the one slot you're going to fill is this one. This slot here is going to be empty for female characters, so maybe there is another sub mod coming along, and that gap may get filled in the future. And another thing I've just remembered, guys, is that the agents have been reworked as well. So your agents now have 3 slots. They don't have the changing traits, so you've still only got this area here, but you've now got 3 slots here. So I mean, I suppose what we could do is, I've got my agent over here. We could probably do a little bit of work. Yeah, so we got hiss. Now, one thing I did notice when I loaded the game, some of these traits had disappeared, but they had returned. I actually quite like that there. So give my agent here. You can see I've got a top of the line agent here. Yeah, some of the traits did change and my economy did dip, but when I rolled the turnover, things actually got back to normal. And on that, I think that is where the core of the overview of this update is over. And now it's time to get down to a little bit of actual gameplay, and maybe we can get in for a battle. So let's just get into diplomacy. We're not at war with Egypt, but we're going to get into war with Egypt. I want to join your war against Egypt. Yeah, and we can even get a tiny bit of cash out of them, just for the funsies of it. They've accepted. That means that we're not going to be upsetting there. Now, I have scouted this area out, and the only thing I can think of is the Egyptian armies are over here invading Carthage, because I can't see anything here. Now, it's interesting, and what I'm going to do is I formed up these 2 battle groups, and the idea is one is going to come down this way and one's going to come over here. I've seemed to have lost a lot of campaign movement range, which is slightly annoying. I mean, these armies should be able to move a lot further than that, so we're going to have to get in on 2 turns on here. I mean, we might be able to get a siege battle. I think we're pull this agent back just to see, just to make sure there's no armies lurking, although technically these guys are in an anti-ambush position. You can see my income's dropped straight away, and we've got a, can't even remember what the technical research was. Temple design, oh yeah, this is this here. So we've now got level 4 settlements and colonies here. That could be fun. I'm not sure where that colonies come from. Is that a change? Level 4 colony there. I'm not sure. I mean, we could go for that. That's only 5 turns. I think that could be quite useful. Although my inclination is to mercenary recruitment costs, enemy siege holdout, pre-siege. We could go for the master armor. I think I'm going to go for the master armor just for the fun of it, guys. See, I've got a big wad of cash to spend. I think, not sure why. So I've not, obviously not everyone here. This is, oh, so this is level 4 cities. The main settlements here are, okay, not a problem. That's just my fail, guys. What I'm really interested in is this, which is the reason I went for it. You can see that this now gives us 25% wealth from industry, all regions. So this is where we can really start to rack up the prize farming. It's going to give me, oh, that's a level 3. This is what I'm after. Yeah, +2 public order. I mean, that would be really great. My food has gone through the roof because I think in the update there must have been changes to the food situation. I certainly want that. I think actually no, because that's not giving me that much of a boost, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I nearly fell for that. Wealth from subsistence. That's giving me a little bit more protection. Well, we're certainly going to go with that. Got some food here for massive public order. I think we can go with that. Charmouth, and I think I'm just going to hang on to the cash, guys. So we're just going to go for an intern. Okay guys, we got a noble death. I don't know who's died. It can't be my faction leader because he died quite recently. So we'll see how this could be expensive. See, straight away our income has dropped, so right. I'm just going to close the movie. And yeah, 18,000. Wow. Dynasty. Seleucid Dynasty. Okay, we're going to have to put in one of our new generals. We've got this new Empire maintenance. Wow. Okay. And lost their way. The dread of Demas. From far from unknown lands, they've lost their way. A minor setback, perhaps it's a setback military. % campaign rate. Who the heck's done that? Peace negotiated. Natural causes, political party, local nobility. Well, Philo. We lost 2 part leaders. Right. So we got this xenophobic guy here, and so we're gonna have to get this guy into a battle. Great, because he's only got a level 5. Wow, that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. I think what we can do is we'll replace him. And just going to hire in, and we're just going to keep this army here. I think we're going to got the Egyptian navies hanging around down here, so I'm just going to get you down to here and have a quick look. Yeah, so you're subversive. You're a populist. It looks like we may have lost the. So we're going to need a new member of here. Take actions against royal feeder. I think we can get this guy in and get him into a cut and easy battle. Who else died? Of course, that's Zeno. And we'd also lost local nobility. Let's have a quick look at that. Local nobility. How old are you? It looks like we didn't actually lose someone. Oh, I think we've lost a wife in that area there. That's probably why she didn't get a video. Yeah, I think she's now dead. She's the wife of. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to tell who's married to who, but I think the second character was a wife. Oh well, never mind. Right, we're just gonna get in. Gonna lay siege to Alexandria. And wow. And we're just going to continue the siege. Going to bring both up. Wow. Okay. This was the guy who must have lost his way. And my campaign movement range has gone through the basement. I mean, can I fight this? I think we're just for the funsies of it, guys. We're just gonna let these guys hold for one turn, and then maybe we'll fight this battle rather than this battle if I can get to them. I mean, because this would be more of a field battle than this. This would be just a siege battle, and we can just get in heavy-handed, take Alexandria, sweep down and take Memphis. I mean, just see if there's any armies moving in this area here. Nope. The rest of the empire is looking good, but you can see how much my income has now dropped because I lost those two leaders. So we're going to need to work on improving our income a little bit. However, I think that could be quite a good buy as well. This doesn't give us, I mean, could have a look. Don't know if there's any other buildings here that are going. I think all the benefits for the update are in the libraries. Just like that's improving. That's a tier 4 library. That's, I think we've got virtually all the upgrades we can with the libraries. No, we've got another library here. I think we're just going to drop that in there. So we've got this guy down here who might benefit from it, and I don't know. Let's see if my to see if my faction leader. I mean, you don't get any indication of whether this guy is actually improving. He's a student. Suppose he's a faction leader, so we could give him that. Anything that actually gives him a bit of cunning or authority could be useful. I think I'm just going to hang on to the rest of the cash, guys, because I do want to get a battle in here. Okay, rampant piracy, hunted. Yep, always go for hunted. He's negotiated between Raku and Parfair. Wasn't aware that Sophocanicus has returned home, and I think what we're going to do is get him up here, and we're going to place the general and hire you in, give you the late royal guard so that you can get involved in this battle. And I think we're going to give you some this Sophocanesis. Got authority. Let's see if we can give you anything here. Morale for all units. Wow, 8% tariff faction wide. That could be good. I don't want you to give the -1 authority. I don't like having Brow elephants faction wide shots. I suppose you're gonna have to live with that. If you get, you'd probably get killed, but never mind. So we got Agora up here. Slave market. I mean, I'd be tempted to put that in because that will give a food supply support when we invade over here. Because some of these territories can be a little bit rough. Yep, I think we're going to go with that, guys. Oh, and I saw there's a population surplus over here. Wow, yep, we're certainly going to take that and put an Agora in there. That will fill up that area there, I think, quite nicely. And the AI did its usual thing, it pulled back the navy. That tactic doesn't seem to have changed. These seem to be my better armies that bring this army down. And I think just to try out the battle mechanics, guys, we're going to fight this with just a single army so that it's going to be a little bit more balanced. I want to try these units out. We're coming to here. The Siege of Alexandria will be for the next part, I think. If the battles feel too long or too short, you should try out one of our many sub-mods that changes the battle speed and difficulty for player. I mean, it's no contest, but I just want to see how the new battle mechanics are going to work, especially line of sight. When true, it's a siege battle, so in theory we should see the settlement itself because we are laying siege, but we'll have a look-see, guys. And you've got the settlement here, and we're just going to bring the army back. I think we'll have one set of artillery there. Actually, there's quite a large entrance here, isn't there? I think we're going to go in from this perspective, I think, to be honest. It's like an open gap there. Don't think I really need to put that much focus on. Actually, yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, I think we're gonna draw them this way. I'm going to be very interesting to see if the AI comes out. That's always the. What's the next thing I want to do is check the new deployment. Yeah, so you can see here now the deployment's a lot deeper, and that's maximum width. So that's something you're going to need to pay attention to. I mean, we can take one out, and yeah, as you can see there. So no more spaghetti lines. That means that this front line is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I don't know if this is going to, yep, so this is going to apply to these guys as well, though I think these troops always did. And your job is going to be to cover the flanks there. And I think we'll just have the Tarentines out here. So it looks like the Tarentines are looking good. So I think we're going to do usual. Going to have actually these guys are going to be firing quite literally up here, so you can come over here and put the again. See, this is going to be interesting. These guys are going to be subject to all these depth and restrictions. It means that defending against cavalry is going to be fun. Inclined to have these guys maybe coming in on this flank because they're going to have to work with the general. I think you can stay over here. We've only got the one set of cavalry. And is that it? Oh no, we've got a couple more units over here. I think we'll just put the. I mean, I should have replaced these guys actually. And we're just going to have you on the flank. I think you guys can support this. Wow. This is going to take some getting used to. Flank defense is, I mean, it's going to be okay for this siege battle, but I think flank defense and forward battle lines is going to be pretty interesting, and we don't have line of sight. Okay. Cav. We can't see into the settlement. Oh, this is cool. This is great. Absolutely great.
What are your orders?
Right.
As you wish.
Right, their navy's over there, so. And I think we could probably use the slingers as spotters on this side. That actually reduces the capabilities of the artillery, actually. That is absolutely cool. Great. Because where before you could spot these troops almost immediately.
Swift riders at your command. Slingers! Yes, Commander! Pikes, ready!
Pike units move forward. And as they get closer,
Royal Peltasts! Orders, my lord!
guys just bring up the
Pikes! Pikemen! Form phalanx! Light infantry at your command!
and we're just going to move forward. Going to bring the Royal Peltasts up. Ah, I'm going to enjoy fighting battles. Archers up. You can come up on the flanks. General in. Oh, this is going to change the whole way battles are going to be fought. Well, Peltasts.
Ready yourselves! Allied troops! Loose! We are at your command! The Gamer Cavalry! We await your
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
We are at your command!
Guys, come up this way. Hey,
At your service! What are your orders? Slingers! Take aim! Your orders!
this is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Commander! Royal Peltasts! Ready! Fire on the enemy! Commander!
Cav ran the back. Hey, gonna take a few more casualties than we would normally do.
We are at your command!
I'm probably gonna need to play as the Romans, guys, just to try this out.
Your service! Take aim!
And I think you guys have done enough damage. You pull away.
As you command!
General up that way.
We await your orders! Order! Loose! Order! Ready for orders!
Peltasts come in behind.
Our orders!
And in we go.
Phalanx pikemen! Attack their position!
The sheep.
What are you waiting? Yours to command! Orders! Break the line! Royal Peltasts!
These guys are standing. Great.
Citizen cavalry!
Why is these? Oh, these are my heavy cavalry. And in go the Peltasts.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Advance at speed! Citizen cavalry! Ready, men!
What we got here? Throw javelin medium. Okay. Oh, this is new.
By your command! Silver shield swordsman!
Get the
Citizen cavalry! Into flying wedge formation! Ready for orders! Forward!
in they go.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Right, slingers, you've done enough damage. Wait. General up. Guys come in to reinforce. I probably don't need you guys. And in they come. Yeah, I forgot these cav are the cav that I brought in. This is my new general unit. Wow, these guys are. Oh, I'd love to use these guys, but right. They're going to charge through my own lines, so. Wait, where are you going? We've won this battle. Right, these guys are now broken up out of formation. End battle. Wow. We lost 96 there. Yep, I think fighting battles, especially big set piece field battles, is going to be totally different now, guys. Especially against barbarians, because the shorter front line, and I mean, if you guys cast your mind back the last two parts where I was fighting the desert tribes, where they had a very wide front and they were able to get their cavalry round the flanks. Now we're going to have a very short, compact front line. I think defending the flanks is going to be a lot more interesting than it was before. Wow. I think we're just going to occupy. And we've got our general here. We've got I'm just going to bring this general down. Of course, we're going to get you down here. Wait. Just get down here. And I don't know what the garrison here is going to be like in 18. Wow, we've got an automatic takeover here. That's pretty good. And we've got a siege battle here, but I'm running out of time, guys. In the next part, we will be fighting this siege battle. I know it will be an easy siege battle. And if any of you guys watch my series, I have this tradition that I always fight the historical cities on the campaign map, and of course Alexandria is one of those. We've got the Pharos lighthouse there, so we will certainly start the next campaign with that battle there, and then we'll push on to Diapolis. I mean, we've got this navy here, so what we're probably going to have to do is come in with another siege army here, native militia, Greek cavalry, Greek spearmen. But I've really enjoyed that battle, guys, and this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. Hope you are looking forward to playing the new update as much as I am. I think it's going to be fun. I certainly want to start a new campaign, and after fighting that battle, I think it's definitely probably going to be Rome, unless I mean, the two factions I really would like to experiment now with is Rome and maybe a barbarian faction. The barbarian faction looks quite attractive now, because I like the idea of maybe the barbarian hordes sweeping in and breaking those tight formations. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.